Hey everybody, today I have a really cool, really neat, I like this Desert Buggy by Subotech. It goes by several different names here, as you can see on the box. It's the Bourse, I guess it's called Chariot. Its model number is the BG1513B. Comes in black and like a grayish blue. And there's also an A version that comes in red and green, which of course is what's shown on the box. It said 1/12 scale, advertises it at 45 kilometers per hour. You know, it's somewhere in the 20s. I don't know exactly. I didn't do the conversion on the imperial system on that. But you know, it moves along okay. It's not the fastest thing. It's pretty similar to the BG1508 that I reviewed a few weeks back. In fact, it's almost identical with the same motor and drive shafts, just a different body and different wheels. Which the wheels, I like this design a lot better. Even though I like the look of the 1508, this one I think looks even better. These buggy wheels are a lot narrower, so better for turning. Won't hop around like the large ones on the 1508. The body style is really sharp too. It has a protective sheen over this Lexan body. You pull off, so it's nice and protected as it comes, in the box, so it doesn't get scuffed up or anything. It just has just spring shocks, so they're not oil filled, but it is four-wheel drive, and it does have, just like the other Subotech, it has all metal drive shafts, dog bones, so not easy to break. It's full ball bearings, another big positive to me. Has this spare tire on top like you'd see in a desert buggy, and I don't see any reason why you couldn't use this if for some reason you busted a wheel. So essentially you have an extra wheel. It has this protective casing around the 390 size brush motor, those little red accents, which I really like. Just overall really neat buggy. Now if you look right up here on top, you see these LED strips here and these two here and these lights on top. These all light up and function, so you could drive this thing at night. Now, of course, it's daytime, so it's not going to show up very well, but it looks really cool at nighttime. But it's just, nighttime driving and filming is not good for a review. So I really can't do that today. But this is a big plus, in my opinion, to have these extra lights, because so many people want lights on their RC cars and have to go out and buy kits to add them. Now, if you look in here and say, well, what's this? Well, this is my HTYCAR Firefly Q6. This little mini action cam that I've had for a little while. I absolutely love this. It films just like the same resolutions and same sensor and stuff as my hat cam, my Firefly 7S that I'm using to film this. I'm going to put this in here in between the two drivers to kind of get a cockpit view or driver's side, eyes view of this to include with the footage. I just slid it in here so hopefully it doesn't bounce around too much. I will include this footage unless it's completely unusable. Let's see what else to discuss here with it. In terms of the accessories, of course, it comes with a big battery, just like the other Subotech. It's a 7.4 volt, 1500 milliamp hour lithium ion, so a 2-cell at 20C. So it's a pretty big battery. With it being four-wheel drive, you need it. This takes a couple hours to charge. It's a slow charge, and it charges up the balance plug here off this very standard wall charger with the little red light that goes on and off. And like I said, it's a slow charge, but it gets the job done. But you could certainly use other balance port chargers if you have ones that are better than this one, which I do use, because it uses this odd plug like the other ones. It looks kind of like an XT30, but it's not, and you're not going to find that easily to put this on a hobby grade charger that takes lithium ion batteries. Let's see here. It comes with a nice big instruction manual in here, which does have an exploded view of putting it together and all basic instructions. It comes with these spacers for the shocks. It comes with a Phillips screwdriver, a nice sized one, and just like the other Subotech, it comes with these these universal swing shaft type replacement dog bones, which are different than the ones in here. So you could use them. They will work, but they're not the same. They're actually better, in my opinion, than the ones that are even in here. But they don't include 4 of them. Let's see here. You might have noticed there's a couple of these spacers that are gone out of the package. It's not showing up if the glare's not wiping it out. And that's because I think on this particular one, the front suspension's, bouncy, but the rear is really springy. It's really loose. You can see I've added spacers. I probably need to add more. It is not very good on the rear suspension, so I really need to add more spacers to it, try to stiffen up this rear suspension, because in my opinion that's too loose, it's too bouncy. If you put oil-filled shocks on this, you certainly can find ones that fit. It's going to make a world of difference on the suspension on this buggy. It comes with the very standard pistol grip controller that Subotech uses. Just typical right-left proportional steering, fully proportional throttle, and you got your 1-speed reverse and brake. It's got your steering trim, and it's got the amount of steering, but you want that at max. You can limit to how much it steers, but I don't know why you'd want to limit it anymore. You also, when you first power it on, you need to bind it with the car. So you turn the car on first, and then you hold in the bind button here, and then flip the power on, and then you'll see it. You'll kind of make a beep, and the tires will move, and you've bound it. And once you've done that, you don't have to bind it anymore. So overall, a pretty cool 1/12 scale buggy. It's really affordable. It's not really expensive. It's in the, I think, a $60 to $70 price range. The battery does go down here in the bottom. You slide this, you turn this little dial, slide it up, put the battery in, close it. You have to put this whole compartment back on, and then turn it back around. I do find that a little bit cumbersome, so I'm not going to do that here while I'm filming. I will come back and do that, because it does take a moment to do, and it does have an on and off switch, which is always nice. So I'm going to look over here just to make sure we covered all the stuff on it. I think we did. It's a 390 motor, full ball bearings. It does have a full metal gear differential, which is nice. You're not going to strip a metal gears, especially on a 390 motor. So that is nice. Now, it's not a ball differential, but for this price point, a gear differential gets the job done. So overall, I really think this is a cool buggy. I like the look of it a lot, and I really like that they have the LED lights on the front. Oh, and in the back too. I always forget about it. There's two. I don't know if it's hard to see it here. There's two red rear LED lights here in the back here, right behind the drivers. So hopefully you can see where I'm pointing. So, all right, I think that covers the basics of the car. So I'm going to go ahead and stop filming here, and I'm going to power it up and turn on my Q6 cam to get a first-person view inside the cockpit, and we'll be right back. Okay, back now. I got the battery in the BG1513 Desert Buggy, and it's all bound up with the controller. Hopefully you can see these really cool white LED strip lights and lights on here on top, which really does look cool at night. Like I said, just night time isn't a very good way of being able to film. You just can't pick up much on a camera to show you, but it looks really cool. Like I said, I got it all bound up. I'm going to put my Q6 Firefly camera in here. I don't know how well it's going to stay in place, so it may bounce around. So I don't know if this footage will be good or not. It seemed pretty tight, but it looked like it came a little loose in one little test run. So we'll see if I use some of the footage or not. Hopefully I do. It will work out. So. I don't know if I mentioned the runtime on this. It's probably in the, it's around the 10 to 15. I'm saying probably because I don't really have an exact time. When I drove it, it was between that amount of time, because it depends on how you're driving it, as with any ground vehicles. So, not bad considering it's 4-wheel drive, and it's, they included a big battery in it for that reason, because it takes a lot more power to turn 4 wheels compared to 2. So, I'm going to go ahead and start filming with my Q6 here. I'm going to slide it into the in between the drivers there, and we'll at least try to take some footage here driving around on the driveway. It should at least stay in place. I'm sure it's going to pick up some of this hood, so there'll be some of that in the view. But anyway, let's go ahead and we'll take it out here. It turns actually pretty good. I need to trim the steering up a little bit. Wanting to the wheels are wanting to pull to the left. Now it's wanting to go to the right. That's not full speed. There's full speed. Not bad. You know, I'm going to take it easy with the camera in there. Since it's not, you know, securely mounted. There's a lot of wind today, so I'm going to be pretty much sitting on the edge of my garage. You can see it's like 30-mile-per-hour wind gusts, so I don't want to get too much wind noise in the mic. It looks like the camera is still in place. That's good. So let's go ahead and take it out some more. I'm kind of taking it easier with the camera. I'm probably babying a little bit too much. It's staying pretty good in place. I'll try to get a little bit more throttle now. I'm babying it. So there's full speed. Not too bad. I would say maybe 20 miles an hour. I don't buy the 35 kilometers per hour. I said even though the back is really springy, it still seems to drive okay. So I'm going to try to take it through my landscaping. I'll drive at full speed through the grass now. So now you guys can see a little better because it looked like the thing was struggling. That's because I was just only giving it about half throttle. Let's go full throttle. So not too bad. Be a good beginner's vehicle. Be a lot of fun in snow. Sure you could drive it in the mud. And those lights would be really cool for driving at night. And definitely be a good vehicle for a younger kid. It says 14 and up on the box, but honestly I think you can go much younger than that. This thing doesn't need to, it's not that hard to drive, it's not that fast. It actually steers, it actually turns pretty good with those narrow tires, especially here to the right. You can see how it really whips around. So the narrower tires on this Subotech is certainly makes it much easier to steer than the 1508. It does almost feel at times when I'm turning like it might want to roll full speed, and yeah, it did. That was my concern, and obviously I don't want to damage my Q6, but it's just a little bit. Oops, hit the throttle. I set down the controller. I'm gonna go ahead and pull out the camera now and just stop filming so we can get a better footage now without me worrying about damaging my camera since I didn't have it securely mounted in there. So now we can give it a little bit harder test run now. Not worried about damaging the camera now. Like I said, it turns much better than the 1508 once you get the steering trimmed up. So it does feel like I'm needing to trim it quite a bit. It's like the servo is getting knocked around a little bit, and boy, it really, the tires grip good. It really does want to flip on you, but at least it does steer pretty good. It doesn't hop or bounce like the 1508 because 1508 had such big tires on the front that it grips too much and bounces. This one's, I like this Buggy, the tires better, but it is definitely you definitely do need to trim up the steering more than I would like. See, it's really pulling to the really bad pulling to the left now. There, that's better, but I think maybe they probably needed to use a little bit higher quality servo in there because it seemed like the servo is getting its position knocked out of place rather easily. Easy enough to fix, but it makes it a little bit irritating when you're driving and constantly have to trim the steering, which I'm having to do quite a bit. The first time I ran this, I ran a lot of it indoors because it was all this rain. I didn't notice that, but I couldn't do a lot of full speed runs. I was only able to do a very limited outdoor driving before this. It rolls it rolls the stuff pretty easy, and so far really no damage at all. But one thing I would be concerned about with it rolling is obviously you don't want to break off these lights. I can already see scuffs on it, but you roll and hit it hard enough, I suppose it could happen. So that is a bit of a concern. So I would advise that when you're turning, that you let off the throttle, or just don't give it full turn, so that you're not going to see. There's no problems there. It's just turning at full turn at full speed is when it's wanting to roll. But it has respectable power, four-wheel drive. The suspension works decent. I said the back end's still too bouncy. It needs to be tight. There needs more tension and put more spacers in it. And now see it rolled again, and that wasn't really even that wasn't really full speed right there. But it doesn't seem to have any problems. I mean, I'm rolling it, and at least I give it credit that it's durable. It's not getting damaged or anything really. And I don't think, you do this in the grass, it's not going to do that. It's grabbing the concrete so well with those tires that's causing it to flip over. I turn it full speed in the grass, as you can see here. It's not going to flip over or roll over in the grass. So just be mindful if you purchase this vehicle to not turn it full speed, full radius, turning radius, full speed on concrete. But on the grass, off-road, which it really is, it's a desert buggy, and there's no problems with it off-road. But I said I like this for a 8-10-year-old kid. I think this is a really perfect one. Or a grown adult that just doesn't want a super fast or super expensive vehicle that looks really sharp and has a respectable runtime, and you can play with it outdoors here in all kinds of different weather conditions. I really do. I'm doing that again. It really jumps nicely coming up like that. Let's try that again. Look at that jump. I'm surprised at how well that jumps. That would be cool to get that on the camera. I don't know if I got any of that a while ago, but I said I did without it being secured better. I don't really trust driving like that. It jumps pretty good coming up. Let's see if I can do it here. It tends to handle it pretty well. It doesn't. It seems like the weight is distributed pretty nicely, so it's not a real top, front, or back heavy. See, that handles it pretty good. Yeah, not bad at all. It definitely didn't do a somersault or roll over itself. No, I think that should be enough to show what this thing can do. Overall, I would recommend this. I don't think there's enough negatives to not. It's a good price. It's got the LED lights. It's got decent power. It's got okay speed. This is more of a beginner's vehicle for a brushed motor. Got a really sharp looking body, and like I said, the LED lights are really cool, but the rolling over is a bit of concern, and that would be one concern for a younger kid, because rolling it over a lot, you would mostly worried about breaking these lights off. And the constant needing to trim I was doing was a bit of annoying too. But that's not a huge deal of it unless it gets really bad, because most people are going to be steering a lot, especially a kid is not going to be too bothered by that. But I would like to have seen it not have to be trimmed so much. So I think that covers it all for the Subotech Desert Buggy. Overall, I do like it. So please be sure to subscribe if you're not a subscriber, and stay tuned. I got a whole lot of more stuff coming to review. So have a good day.
The power of the dark side.